Alright, today we'll be doing the water quality experiment. Some of the devices we'll be using is a conductivity meter, hydrometers, test strips for nitrite, nitrate, a 5-in-1, and a phosphate.
And we'll be using a DO meter and probe to measure the DO and the temperature, using a stopwatch for everything that it needs to be timed. And we'll be using a squirt bottle to clean off the DO probe and the conductivity meters between tests. And here we have our tap water, our salt water, and our pond water that we'll be testing. We'll also be using a spectrophotometer and a turbidimeter to measure the color and the turbidity of each species.
Okay, now we will be testing the specific gravity and salinity using a hydrometer. So we're going to do this testing the pond water. To do it, all you do is you pour in the water.
Carefully.
And now you just take the readings.
Specific gravity is on one side and the salinity is on the other. So our specific gravity is 1.004 and our salinity is 6. And now we'll be using the 5-in-1 strip on the tap water.
The 5-in-1 tests total chlorine, free chlorine, total hardness, total alkalinity, and pH. What Dave's doing is you dip it in for 1 second, hold it level for 30 seconds, and after the 30 seconds you compare the bottom three, which are total hardness, total alkalinity, and pH, and then you move the strip back and forth, and then you can compare the top two on the bottle, which is total chlorine and free chlorine.
$29.30. So our total hardness looks to be between 3 and 7, leaning closer to 7, so put about 5. Total alkalinity, probably about 100 is between the 80 and the 120, about halfway. And our pH looks to be about 8.4. So now I've got to swash it back and forth for 30 seconds. And 30 seconds. Now we compare total chlorine and free chlorine. And both are at 0, which is good for tap water. Don't want any chlorine. Now we'll be testing for phosphate. We're using the tap water once again. So for the phosphate test, we need to dip the strip in there for 5 seconds. And hold it level for 45 seconds. And we will wait for that and take the reading once it's done. Okay, and it's been 45 seconds, so now we'll take the reading. And it looks to be between the 5 and the 15, so we'll call it 10. And now we'll be doing the test for nitrate and nitrite. For this, you hold the pad in for 1 second. Then you hold it level for 30 seconds and compare the first one, and then 60 seconds and compare the second one. And it has been 30 seconds. So now we test for the nitrite, which is 0. And it's been 60 seconds. So now we test for the nitrate. Nitrate is also 0. And that concludes the test strips.
Now we will be testing for conductivity in the pond water using a conductivity meter and probe. To do this, all you have to do is turn the conductivity meter on, stick the probe in the water, and wait for the measurement to stabilize. And make sure that you do not remove the probe guard during measurement.
And it is ready. So we've got 412 microsiemens of conductivity.
Next, we will be testing for dissolved oxygen in the pond water as well. For this, you just need a dissolved oxygen meter and probe. First, you just need to turn the meter on, let it stabilize, and then stick the probe into the water.
With this, you can also test for temperature. It's right on the side of the meter.
And we have a measurement of around 8.63 milligrams per liter.
And what's the temperature?
21.0 degrees Celsius. Next, we will be testing clarity of the water using a turbidimeter. We filled this vial with pond water. What you do is just open the lid, stick it in there, close it, and it'll be the first reading that pops up. In this case, it is 4.52 NTUs, which stands for National Turbidity Units.
Here we have the spectrophotometer and a cuvette filled with pond water. Now, we'll need to zero it, make sure that the lid is closed. And once it is zeroed, lift the lid. And then place the cuvette in. Close the lid. And wait for it to stabilize. And we have a reading of 0.075 absorbance.
Hi, welcome to Dave's Applications. Today we'll be talking about the quality of water. Now, if any of you have a pool or home aquarium, you know the importance of water quality. It can keep your fish alive and keep your skin from burning when you go into the pool. It also keeps your eyes from burning when you open them underwater. Usually, you'll use these little test strips to test for any sort of chemicals that might be in there, or the pH value, or the alkalinity of it. That's very important for fish because if that's off balance, that can very easily kill them. And you also have other things such as a hydrometer, which you probably won't use for an aquarium or a pool at home because it doesn't seem that much important to the small scale ones, but they will test the physical properties of water such as the specific gravity. You don't want the water to be too heavy for the fish and make them like float down or collapse on themselves. Now at an aquarium that you'll visit, like the big ones at the Baltimore Aquarium or the Camden Aquarium, they'll be testing the water very often to make sure nothing goes wrong so that the fish will stay alive and be pleasing to the eye for everyone who visits there. So you don't want your water quality to be bad. It's also very good for drinking water to have water quality that's way up, because you don't want to drink bad water, do you now? That's just bad. I hope you've all learned something.